Could you see me?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Namaste,
Not yet?
Bhagavan.
Namaste, namaste.
Namaste.
Very happy to see you. Yes.
Namaste. So wonderful to see you.
Oh, we can.
Wait, we can't hear you can't hear you right now. Hold on, we don't have an audio. We're still waiting for audio.
Are you getting the audio now?
Yes.
So, shall we go ahead with the questions?
Yes, thank you so much for joining us.
So Narasimha Kumar here would be asking me the questions, then I would answer you.
Beautiful, thank you.
The first question, Bhagavan. On the teleconference call with North America last Sunday, you spoke of physical awareness, internal integrity, and external integrity. Would you please explain more about external integrity, its value to our growth, when we should use it, and how we might differ from just speaking out what we are thinking or feeling in any given moment?
The external integrity is a very powerful tool, but must be used very carefully. It's not merely speaking out the truth. It is speaking out the truth without any sense of fear. Now, it may not be possible to do it always. In that case, we would not advise you to follow external truth. But if and when used, it's a remarkably powerful tool, but quite dangerous also if you're not prepared for it. For example, I often tell, when you're not enlightened, do not behave like one. When you're not a Mahatma Gandhi, do not behave like one. I often say, when Gandhi faced British bullets, it never really hit him. But then I said, if somebody who's not a Gandhi were to go to the battlefield to face the bullets, the first bullet would hit him, because your very fear would attract the bullet to you. Therefore, one should not behave as though one has got the strength and courage when one does not have that. Now, to give an example, in India, there was a gentleman who came to our courses and then learnt about external integrity. But he forgot the statutory warning we gave that you should not practice that unless you have the courage to take it on. And it's not merely speaking out the facts. It is also the inner side to it. You must come from what you have discovered inside, and then you must speak it out. Now, this gentleman went to his office and told his boss, "Boss, I don't like you." The boss said, "Fine." Then he said, "Look, you are a crook." The boss said, "Okay, man, get lost." He continued saying, "No, I know all the corrupt things you have done." This man said, "Please stop it." And at last, this man, realizing he must speak the truth, said, "I have also been corrupt. I am also corrupt." And then the boss called his secretary and told him, dismiss his chair. He was on the spot dismissed from his job. He came the next week to us and said, "What kind of a teaching have you given? I thought there was power in it, and I lost my job." Then we gave him a correction. We told him that you are craving for power. That is not truth. It has to come from inside, and then you have the courage that you could speak it, then you must speak it. You're basically a coward craving for power. It was only a concept for you. Truth was a concept, and you must have done it. We gave him the corrections. Then after 4 weeks or so, he got another job in Dubai and is doing quite well. So we have had such funny cases of people trying to practice external integrity. So we would sound a note of caution. You must only lift that much weight as you could possibly lift. You should not lift beyond your capacity. To what extent you could be truthful without getting hurt. So if you cannot take it, then you should not do it. But if you can take it, you should do it. And it must come from inner conviction, not speaking truth for the sake of speaking. There must be a deep inner conviction. Only then you must practice external integrity. But if practiced, it's amazingly powerful because the mind stops daydreaming. It's all the time playing with concepts. It is constructing emotions, constructing thoughts, constructing feelings, and doing all kinds of things. It's a machine which just cannot keep quiet. It's all the time building up things. A lot of things, if you analyze, you'll find that they've all been put together by the mind. There's no truth to it. There's no fact in it. But then if you practice external integrity, this mechanism slows down and the mind becomes very, very quiet. It's a powerful tool. I would recommend it only if you have the strength, you must practice it. Otherwise, you should not practice it. That's the answer for the first question.
Thank you.
We move to the second question. Yes.
Second question is, Bhagavan, on a recent Skype call, we heard you say that setting right relationships with our parents will strengthen our connection to the divine. This caused concern in some of us because we long to have a stronger connection to the divine. And we have been working on parental relationship for some time, but there always seems to be deeper layers of charges to uncover. Could you please offer some guidance on how we can set these relationships right at the deepest level?
You see, to get closer to the divine, we must separate what we call the four baskets. Those who attended level 1, level 2 would be aware of four baskets. Those stages of growth which happen in your womb, these are the most critical and crucial factors. Unless they are set right, it is difficult to get close to the divine as a living experience. You can relate to the divine as a concept, maybe as a thought structure, but the divine is something which cannot be caught by thought. It has nothing to do with the mind. It's a living thing. It cannot be controlled by space nor time. Since it's a living experience, it is always in the present. Now, if we are to get there, the mind must be silenced. And the mind could be silenced only if we have cleaned up the four baskets or the four crucial stages in the womb. Now, one of the simplest ways to set right things in the womb is to set right your relationship with your parents. Now, if that happens, all that happened in the womb gets cleaned up, and then the divine walks into your life. Now, one of the simplest ways of setting right relationship with your parents is to start experiencing them. Like you would go to a beach, you see the waves on the ocean, you see the breeze coming in. How would you experience that? Or you are eating a nice dish. How would you experience that? Similarly, let us say your father is shouting. You should enjoy it afterwards, the roar of a lion. Or if your mother is doing something, you should compare her to something very beautiful. And you must begin to experience those things, those moments with them, which could be painful to you, but then you must experience them as though it's not your mother, your father with a charge, but as very beautiful beings. Now, these are not very difficult to practice. I've seen in India thousands of people do this, and they get there probably in a month's time. Thereafter, the person is not changed. You change. For example, I once had a couple, they had a very bad relationship, and I asked, what's the problem? And the lady said, this man is a drunkard. I want him to change that. And the man said, I want this lady to change because she's a flirt. So now we said, look, we are not here to make a drunkard into a non-drunkard or a flirt into somebody very different. That's not our business because we don't judge or condemn people. All that we can tell you is you have to work on yourself. So you, the flirt, will accept that you are a flirt, first thing. And you would love being a flirt. That's the only thing that's true about you. And this lady said yes, and she began working on that. And the man, we told him, look, you are a drunkard, accept that you are a drunkard, and love yourself as you are. Say, I'm a happy drunkard. So we were working on like this. It took about 3 hours, I think. Finally, the man completely fell in love with himself, accepted himself and loved it. He did not cease to be a drunkard. He accepted himself and loved himself. The lady accepted, she's a flirt, and fell in love with herself. Now, once this happened, the lady would accept the man as a drunkard and fell in love with him. And the man accepted her as a flirt and fell in love with her. When this happened, he ceased to be a drunkard and she ceased to be a flirt. All things got set right. So this is how we have to start. So it's no use complaining about your parents, You have to start working on yourself. People have this habit of working on others. That way you'll get nowhere. You cannot change people. All that you could do is you could change yourself. And the strangest thing is, if you change, the other automatically changes. You have to just wait for some time. We have had couples like from the US. The lady would be in India. We would be working on them. The husband back in New York would exhibit changes. There would be a phone call from New York saying, "My darling, my dear, how are you?" And the entire thing has changed without even having seen the husband, because we're all connected. So the only thing you have to do is with your parents, you don't have to work with your parents. You have to work with yourself, because you have not accepted yourself. You have not fallen in love with yourself. If you do that, you would start experiencing your parents, you would accept them and love them as they are, not the way you want them to be. When that happens, relationship gets set right. And the moment that happens, all that has happened in the womb, while you are in the womb, that gets set right. And you'll find the divine walks into you as a powerful presence. It's a living experience. It looks difficult, but it is not so. Many people have achieved this quite effortlessly, especially simple people whose minds are not very complex. They made it very, very easily. If it's possible, sometime we could even show you some videos of very simple people, how easily the divine has come into them and the lives are completely transformed. If technology permits it, someday we would like to show you those videos. That's the answer for the second question. The third.
Third question. Everyone is so excited about level 1 coming to the US. When will the trainers be invited to be with you so that they can receive instructions on teaching level 1?
Yes, they will be invited to India after March 7th, because we have got a very hectic schedule until March. Once that is over, they'll be invited to India and they'll be trained. And what they would be doing would not be called a level 1 or a level 2. It will be a new course, a very powerful course. And they would not only be conducting those courses back in the US, they would themselves be initiating people into becoming blessing givers. That would be the change. So to become a blessing giver, you do not have to come to India. You do not have to attend the level 1 or level 2. You can just attend the courses conducted by your own trainers and become a blessing giver. That would happen after March. Probably to become functional, it could be in May, because once they come, we have to train them. And by the time they get started, it could be May of 2010. So that's the answer for the third question. Okay. So shall we now move into meditation?
Yes, thank you.
For 3 minutes.
Bhagavan.
To see you all.
We feel the same.
How many people are there? How many people are there?
We have quite a few, like 30 or 40.
I see.
Wait,
I
here,
cannot see them.
everyone stand up
Oh,
right now and
nice.
come and wave. There you go.
Bhagavan, namaste, Bhagavan.
Namaste, namaste.
Bhagavan, namaste.
Bhaskar and Sudha are here, Bhagwan.
Oh, I see. There is it. Okay. So shall we move to meditation for the next 3 minutes?
Thank you. Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Everyone stand up again, please.
Love you all.
Love you, Bhagwan. Love you, Bhagwan.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ken.
Oh.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
So do we want to give blessings?
Yeah.
All right. I hope everyone had their hair combed properly. It's going to be going all around the world.